I'm a guy that's 24. Each day I build some more. I like the sequels. I'm Rich Boy J. Hello boyos, Rich Boy J here back with another video, and I'm here to talk again about the Mandalorian Battle Pack. So the initial video that I had on this set was up yesterday, and I took it down because I didn't realize there was actually a watermarked image in it, like specifically saying like, you know, confidential, don't show this to anyone. It was kind of hard to make out in the photo, and I couldn't tell. But once it was brought to my attention, I realized, yep, that video has to be taken down. And then of course, the very next day, we get the official reveal of this set. So the moral of this story is like patience or something. Anyways, I'm here to give you some extended thoughts on this Mandalorian Battle Pack. The first video I did was more of kind of a gut reaction. This time I've had a little bit of time to reflect on it and look at much better pictures of it and give some more in-depth thoughts to it. So one of the first things that I was totally wrong about from the first video I did on this is I was wondering whether or not the vehicle in this was actually going to be a real vehicle, and it is a real vehicle. It's from the Clone Wars, actually. One thing I didn't do when I made my first video was actually look at the original Mandalorian Battle Pack, but the build ship in that set is the same one from this set, and I've been told by many people that it showed up in the Clone Wars TV show. So hooray, it's an actual vehicle. I appreciate that. But what this does convince me of, and after a lot of thinking, I am almost pretty sure of this now, this battle pack is probably not based on the TV show The Mandalorian, which I feel takes the appeal of this set down so much for me. And I'm gonna like try to get into this a little bit, and hopefully you guys can see where I'm coming from, because I've seen a lot of people who are ranting and raving about this battle pack, who are super excited to get these 4 Mandalorians, but for me it's just 4 generic Mandalorians. Don't get me wrong, the figures look cool, there's tons of detail on them, the colors are fun, all that good stuff, but at the end of the day, I just don't feel like this, you know, fills any gaps in my collections or inspires me to do any particular mocks, because they're just 4 generic Mandalorians. I know there are people out there who are far more creative than me when it comes to these things that will find a great use for these, but just for me, I don't really see a big use for these in my collection other than just being able to look and say, yo, I got these cool looking Mandalorian dudes. And that really makes me want to bring up a few talking points. The first thing is the idea of this set being an army builder. At first glance, I would not describe this as an army builder. I mean, it's just 4 generic Mandalorians. I guess if you really wanted to, you could get a bunch of these and maybe swap the armor and helmets around, but you'd still end up with a lot of helmet and armor duplicates. And I think the helmet is the one thing that if you wanted to build a quote-unquote Mandalorian army, you would want to have unique between the figures. So I just don't think you're really going to get much mileage in that regard coming out of this set. So then that brings up the next point. Does this set need to be an army builder? Is that inherently a bad thing if it's not an army builder? I know a lot of battle packs as of late have taken a lot of flack for not being quote-unquote army builders. I know the Jedi and Clone Trooper battle pack really took a lot of criticism because it had named characters, ones that you wouldn't want to army build. Same thing with the Inferno Squad battle pack, Praetorian Guard battle pack. You guys get where I'm going with this. I feel that this is really the same type of deal, but people seem to not be as critical of this set because of that. And I think it's just because it's such a unique type of battle pack in regards to the types of figures we're getting. Like, we've really never seen anything quite like this assortment of figures all in one set, so I can kind of understand it there. So then that brings me to my last talking point, and that is ultimately that I don't think I wanted this set to be an army builder from the beginning. I think when we first got rumors of this set, the fact that it was going to be a Mandalorian battle pack just really made me feel like, yo, this is going to be a great way for us to get a bunch of named characters from the new show, and in a cheap way. Like, that was what I was expecting, and I was really hoping we would get that, because 1, I wanted the Mandalorian with this new armor, and 2, I would just, you know, want to open up the potential for mocks from the Mandalorian outside of the figures that we got from the AT-ST Raider set. Looking at the set more and more, I'm pretty convinced that this is not based on the TV show. I've looked very closely at the Mandalorians that we see that have popped up so far, and none of these characters match up with them. And given just the fact that the vehicle build is from the Clone Wars TV show, I mean, unless we just happen to see that vehicle again in the Mandalorian TV show, which I'm going to assume we're probably not, I think it's safe to say at this point, this is probably not a set based on that TV show. And I think that's where the biggest source of my disappointment comes from. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't think this is inherently a bad set. It's just not what I would have personally wanted from a set like this. I think what this set really is going to boil down to is how much do you just like the aesthetic of Mandalorians. I know there are a lot of people out there who like these guys a lot more than I do, and that's not to say that I don't like the way Mandalorians look. I mean, they look cool, but I mean, at some point, you know, it's just more variations of the same type of thing, if that makes sense. Like, I mean, like Boba Fett looked awesome, Jango Fett looked awesome. I just feel there's only so much you can do and just kind of modifying that and making them new colors where you can still get the same, oh, that looks awesome type of reaction from me. You know, at the end of the day, Boba Fett was kind of a nothing character that became something because of how cool he looked. And I don't know, I feel there's only so far you can go with that, if that makes sense. I'm not trying to rain on anyone's parade. Like I said, I know a lot of people are super excited about this set, and I'm happy that, you know, LEGO's putting out a set that people are generally happy about, considering how often it seems that people are just, you know, upset with whatever LEGO decides to put out. So I think that's just generally good for the community. I just personally would have preferred something that gave us named characters from the TV show, which, you know, goes against conventional battle pack wisdom. But I mean, the fact that, you know, we're not gonna get another Mandalorian set in the near future because we pretty much know what's coming out for the next wave, and with the popularity of the TV show, I just would have much preferred for us to have gotten another set based on that. But with that being said, I would love to open up the floor to you guys and know how you feel about this. Does it matter to you whether or not these guys are going to be a part of the TV show? Are you just happy to get different types of Mandalorians, even though they're not really based upon any particular type of character? Let me know in the comment section below. That's going to finish up the video, guys. If you like what I do, go ahead, support the video by hitting the like button, support the channel by smashing that subscribe button, and I'll be back again very soon.